guys, welcome back to the Book Nook Corner. It's Courtney. Clearly, I have been getting a lot more subscribers and people commenting and engaging with my channel, and it is so fun. And so I just wanted to kind of reintroduce myself, I guess, and do a Bookish get to know me video. It has been quite a while since I've done this, and I thought that I would just kind of let you guys know more about me. Hopefully you find this interesting. Let's get into it. So I'm just gonna kind of like start with like a little general info about me in case you guys don't know. Anyways, my name is Courtney. I am 36 years old. I am married, I have one son, and I live in the Eastern United States. Now on to the bookish questions. So the first bookish question that I have for myself, I'm asking and answering.
Does that make me a little cuckoo?
Hopefully not. Is what is my favorite book? So my favorite book ever is this. I do have a physical copy. She's a little falling apart. She's a little dilapidated. She needs some help. I don't even want to show her to you. It's kind of embarrassing. I have read this book so many freaking times. That is why it looks terrible. But you know, that kind of just gives it some character, and it just is well loved, and it means that's how much I enjoyed the book. So anyway, here is the description. This is a book that I don't think I will ever get tired of rereading. Even though when you look this up, I think it says it's the second book in a trilogy, they are all standalone. So I just want to make that clear. You do not have to read the other books in the series to understand or get this one at all. Please go pick this up. It is such a romance, like, oh my gosh, just so good. I can't even go further into it because we will be here forever. The second question I have is, do I prefer hardback or paperback? This, would seem like a fairly simple answer, but it is not, because I honestly prefer both. I really don't mind either. I probably, a couple years ago would have said paperback, but lately I've really been enjoying my hardbacks as well. Honestly, like both of them, and I would say there's probably an equal amount of both on my bookshelves as well. The third question is cracked spine, ? And my answer would be hell no. What are you doing? You're a sicko. What is wrong with you? Stop. I can't handle that. No, I will never take a book and flip, I will never take a paperback book and flip the cover around to the back. I can't even talk about it. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. I'm not even kidding you. That's how much I despise that. When people show that in their videos, I'm over there I can't handle it. Please don't. The fourth question is, what is your favorite genre? I mean, if you guys pay attention at all to my channel, you would know that my favorite genre ever and always has been fantasy. I don't think I will ever not like or love, be obsessed with fantasy. I just am a person who has always struggled with anxiety and moods. And so fantasy is just one way for me to kind of get out of that and go into a different world. Whereas if it's a book that's about our world, I'm snore. It bores me most of the time. There are a few that I still find interesting if the story's captivating enough, but just contemporary romances, I really struggle. Next question is, do you snack while reading? My answer would be no. It is something that I've never really done, just for the fact that I can't read and eat either, a meal, just because I always feel I'm focusing on my book or my e-reader and constantly looking down to eat, and then I look up and then I'm oh, where was I? And then I forget, and then I'm just constantly fighting the whole time to remember where I was at, and it just drives me nuts. At least that's how my brain works. So my answer is no snacking while reading. Next question is, what was your Goodreads goal for 2024? Last year for 2023, I set my Goodreads goal at 100 books. And that was very ambitious, and then made me feel really frustrated for not reaching that goal. And I read 58 books or something last year. It was kind of a low number. I'm kind of a slow reader. We all kind of know that. I didn't want to set it so high that then I just disappoint myself again. So I set it at 60 books for this year. So if I can get to 60 books and read 2 more than I did last year, I'll be happy. The next question is, what is a genre that you would like to try and read more of? My answer to that, and I'm so excited because it excites me, and I've gotten a lot of books in this genre recently, on my iPad, my iBooks, and my Kobo, and that would be historical fiction / historical romance. So kind of slightly different things, but yet I'm lumping them together. Historical fiction, perfect example of that right now would be this Peach Blossom Spring that I'm currently reading. This is not magical at all. This is purely historical fiction. It is a very captivating, thorough story of just lots of things in Chinese history and, you know, coming to the States and whatnot. And so it's just really good. And books like that. Kristen Hanna is another one that I really want to get into. She's like the historical fiction queenie. I've bought quite a few of her books and I want to read them. But then in saying historical fiction or historical romance or Regency romance, I guess, is where I want to go. So it's historical fiction because it's based in Regency time period, England, France, whatever. That is my favorite time period of history to learn about, read about, watch about, you know, on movies, Bridgerton, things like that. So I'd like to read stuff like that as well. So Bridgerton, anything from Lisa Kleypas. The book that I mentioned in the very beginning of the video, that's my favorite book, is considered like a Regency romance type of situation. But there's a lot of history in it too. I'm a history buff. I love learning about history. That is a genre that I would really like to get more into. The next question is, do you like audiobooks or ebooks more? I definitely would have to say ebooks for sure. Obviously, this channel is kind of built and based on e-readers and Kindles and things like that. I do read a lot of ebooks every single night when I go to bed. I read an ebook or ebooks of some kind. I definitely love that whole world of e-readers and ebooks and everything digital. Audiobooks I enjoy, but I have to really be in the mood. I did have a Audible subscription for quite a while, and I just wasn't really using it as much as I would want to make it worth the money that I was paying. I canceled it, and I try to just get audiobooks when they are on Libby or Hoopla, and then I just try to use it through there. And like I said, I really have to be in the mood. The next question is, what is a childhood favorite book? That is a loaded question because I was a avid reader from the time I was 7-8 years old. So many books that I can think of and that I loved. Harry Potter was honestly probably the top one, but like just kind of like a given. Everybody knows that story, everybody knows that series, everybody knows the characters. I kind of get tired of talking about it because everybody knows about Harry Potter, and like I'm a huge Harry Potter lover, like don't get me wrong, but I wanted to kind of showcase one that also meant a lot to me, that I also was obsessed with and read like crazy, and that is the Dear America series. So this is a bit of a beat up copy, but I have pretty much every one that came out. These are very middle grade. The text, as you can see, isn't overly small, and let me see how many pages are in this. Only about 150 pages. This is actually a thinner one. I have like literally a whole entire bookcase over here full of these that my mom gave me. And I actually have been really thinking about these books a lot lately for some reason, and kind of been wanting to pick them up and read them again because I just remember absolutely loving them and just they meant so much to me. The stories were so captivating. They are told from a child's perspective of their daily life and different points in history, kind of big moments in history, slavery, indigenous/Native Americans being Christianized, stuff like that. Political words, guys. No offense meant. I'm just not good at it. Really good stories told from these kids' perspectives, and I just ate them up. They were so good. So look into this. There's so many different ones. I couldn't even begin to show them all to you. Next question is library or bookstore? That is kind of a hard one because I worked at the library for a couple months. I absolutely love my local library and the people that work there, and it's just such a great area. They have so many great community things to get the kids involved, to get people involved, just different little activities and things that like, and then but obviously books, you can just go there and pick up whatever you want for free, you know, and bring home 30 books if you want to. There's just so many benefits to a library, but there's nothing like going to an actual bookstore, buying the books, bringing them home, knowing they're yours, knowing no one else, you know, 500 other people haven't had their grubby hands on it. My OCD cleanliness part of myself is, yeah, that is a struggle for me sometimes because they feel a little grody, if we're being honest. And obviously when they come from a bookstore, people still handle them, but it's not as much as from a library. My long-winded answer is that I probably would have to say bookstore. The next question on this list is several books at a time or one book at a time. There again, if you guys pay attention at all to my videos, you will know what my answer is going to be, and that is definitely several books at a time. I never used to be that way. I'm talking about reading as a kid. I only ever read one book at a time. That is all I was capable of doing. Like, I just never could have imagined it any other way. And I honestly probably got through them a bit faster, but that's just because I also had the time too. But now as an adult, and after having my book awakening, as I call it, and being awakened to the world of Amazon and Kindle Unlimited and stuff like that, there's just absolutely no way that I could ever read one book at a time right now. Like, there's no physical way. I usually have at least 8 to 10 going at any one time between physical, paperback, ebook. I read at night, I read during the day, whatever. That is how I roll. That is how I work. I'm way too impatient to do it any other way. The next question was, do you use a bookmark or dog ear? I'm definitely a bookmark user, and a bookmark, not just random stuff that you put in the book. It has to be an actual bookmark. I am so OCD about this. I cannot stand dog earing. Like I was talking earlier about like how people take the cover of a paperback and they flip it back behind the book and I cringe. It's the same with dog earring. I'm like, why would you do that to your book? And that's why like it took me forever to actually start annotating, because I just couldn't imagine like writing on the book. But I'm not like bending pages and like disrupting the book in any other way, like defacing the book, whatever word you want to use, destructing it in any other way. So I just like kind of have to be okay with that. And I also try to use a lot of post-it notes. But anyway, definitely bookmarks. I'm getting so off subject here, guys. Can you tell that I'm passionate about books? Duh. The next question is one POV or multi-POV. In case you didn't know, POV is point of view, and I personally don't mind either one, but I really do like multi-POV because sometimes there will be a scene where something is happening with another character and the whole time you're just like, why are they doing that? Like, why are they doing that? What are they thinking? So then sometimes the multiple point of view will switch to why they were thinking that and what they were doing, kind of give you a little more backstory as to their reasons. It can be very beneficial, very informative, and just makes you kind of follow and fall in love with more than one character. I like both, but probably multiple POV better. The next question is over 500 pages or under 500 pages. I am happy with either, but I would have to say that over 500 pages is definitely my favorite. I will reach for the chunker, thicker book way more than I will reach for a thinner, tinier book. That is just how I am. I love my chunky books. I always have. I just love a big chunky book to hold and read and look at, and it just makes me happy. The last question is young adult or adult. It depends on the genre, because personally I have read a couple young adult romances. Some are good, but some are really cringe and cheesy and just don't give you the angst and the sexy, spicy parts, whereas adult does most of the time. And so this is hard for me, because young adult fantasy, honestly, I probably almost in some ways read more young adult fantasy than I do adult fantasy. I really enjoy both, but like I said, it just depends on the genre. So that's a hard question to answer. All right, that concludes my Bookish Get to Know Me. I hope you guys kind of found out a little bit more about me. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer, I've been thinking of doing a Q&A coming up. Leave some questions down below for a Q&A if you would like me to answer. Don't forget to click on my description and check out all of my book clubs and my bookstagrams and join me there. Thank you so much for all of the likes and comments and subscribers. It means so much to me, guys, and I will see you next time.